In Trials of Osiris, people get the impression that people who win their matches are just better. They're the more skillful players who maybe have the better loadout or the superior gun skill. In Trials, that's a given. There will be a time for all of us when we're going to run to a team that overall is just better, and sometimes it's as simply as we lost our ones and we were outskilled in our individual gunfights, and other times it's not so simple. In fact, have you ever played a team where you end up losing 5-4 or 5-3? You just can't understand why you lost, or even worse, you feel you had the better skill than the players on the other team, but somehow weren't able to pull out the win. This is where having great teamwork can make a big difference in these matches, and bigger than people think. What's going on, guys? Apathettic here with all your tips, recommendations, and everything in between. And today we're going to cover how you can improve your teamwork in Trials of Osiris. Let's get into it. Starting with our first tip to improve our teamwork in Trials of Osiris, and that's providing feedback to your teammates. And honestly, guys, this is one of the hardest ones of the tips I have to improve your teamwork, because it involves kind of giving constructive criticism to one of your teammates. And this can present itself in a lot of different ways depending on the rapport you have with your teammates. And what do I mean by rapport? Rapport is like how much you play or spend time with someone. And so obviously if I'm playing with Brave or Senate Nomad or something like that, people I play with a little bit more, I'm gonna be able to provide that feedback in a little bit different way. I'm gonna be able to say, hey guys, can we just not do that? Can we not do this? I can be a little bit more blunt, a little bit more straightforward, because I know that they know, like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to simply let them know that something we're doing isn't working. We're not getting it done the way we're doing it. We need to try pushing it a different way. Or sometimes I'm giving a suggestion like, hey, normally in that situation I would do this. And again, it can be a lot more straightforward. I don't have to worry about it taking them personal. They know that I know they're good players. I'm not giving this feedback because I think they suck. I'm giving this feedback because I want us to win. And so when you have rapport with people, the feedback can come off a little bit more casual, I would say, versus when you're playing with people, say it's you and your friend, and then you have a third who you normally don't play with that much. And that's where the feedback can get a little bit more sensitive, right? You have to really choose your words carefully and come off in a way that you're trying to support that teammate. You want to be able to say, hey man, I saw you did this. What I found success with in the past for myself is approaching the angle this way. And so really using yourself as an example of like, hey, this is what I do and it's helped me. And so now I'm just trying to come from a place of support to help my my teammate get better. And now it seems like I'm trying to help them get better. I'm not so much saying, hey, you're not a good player, but hey, this is something I do as a good player and that I have found success with. And that's the way when you're providing feedback to either teammates you play with a lot or play with not so much, you want to try to come from a place of support where you're trying to say, hey, this is going to help us win. Everybody wants to win. This could also make you better as a player, because in this situation, I've seen you do this multiple times, and each time same result, or most of the time same result. So providing that feedback is so crucial, guys. I know some people that play with other teammates and they just let them keep making the same mistake over and over. By not letting them know and providing that feedback and talking to them about the mistakes they're making and calling them out in either a straightforward or not so straightforward way, you are literally not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting that teammate you're playing with. You are literally keeping them from getting better. And that's the last thing we want. We want to help each other get better. That's why I started this channel. That's why I play with different people on Trials of Osiris. That's why I stream, is because I want to help people get better. And we can all do that within our own games with our own friends and team members by providing that feedback. Getting into our next tip, and that's to call out when something isn't working. And this kind of ties hand in hand with that feedback subject I just talked about, and except it's a little bit more general, right? You're not specifically giving feedback maybe to one person or calling out one thing one person is doing wrong, but what are we as a team doing that's not working? Okay, so let's talk about Widow's Court. We're spawning over by Lake. We're pushing out and we're constantly getting destroyed when we're pushing left. We're getting collapsed on. Someone's always, pinching us from the right side. So we need to adjust, and having the courage on your team to call out when you need to adjust, but also providing that solution as well. Not just, hey guys, let's go right, just to change it up for the sake of changing it up, but hey, I'm gonna push right. I'm gonna wrap around our apartments. If you guys want to hold them on stairs, and we can try to go for that pick. adding more strategy within the game helps a lot in these Trials of Osiris matches. A lot of times people will change things up just because they're dying, which is the right thing to do, but they don't add any additional strategy after that. We're just pushing in a different direction, which in and of itself is not enough of a change up, especially against a better team. So don't be afraid when you're playing with your team to call out what's not working, but be specific in what's not working and how you can approach it differently. For my final tip, guys, and none of the other tips work without this one, and it's all about attitude and being positive, right? A lot of people think, you know, being a great team is, oh, I'll do my part by playing really well, but I'm sure you guys have played with people who are really good in the past, but they just have the worst attitude. Anytime someone makes a mistake, they are just railing into them. They're just yelling at people. It's just a very toxic team environment to play on, and nobody plays well in that environment. So don't be that guy. Make sure when you're playing with your team, try to remain positive. Someone that I play with a lot that's really good with this is BraveX Hero, another YouTube content creator. He is incredibly good at being positive, but also admitting when he makes some of his own mistakes. And that's something I've personally learned from him, is when I mess up, I just call it out. Hey guys, that round, that was my bad. Won't happen again. Let's move on. And your teammates really appreciate little things like that. And it shows that you're not above receiving feedback or being critical of yourself, which will also make your team members feel more comfortable letting you know when they think we should try something different, or provide that feedback directly to you, like I mentioned in the first tip. And so ultimately, guys, having that good attitude is going to get your team farther than any of these tips, farther than being the best player in your team. Because at the end of the day, if you're just bringing it down the overall team morale and constantly being super toxic, your team is not going to go anywhere fast. With that, guys, I hope you found these tips helpful. A lot of them are more focused, again, around types of behaviors and how we interact with our teammates, not so much gameplay stuff. Of course, playing together with your teammates and communicating often is going to help a lot, but there's some other stuff that I feel people don't really touch on enough and often gets overlooked. So if you enjoyed, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me over on twitch.tv/Apathettic. I'll leave a link down below for you guys. We've been streaming over there a lot recently, and you guys have been great, showing tons of support. And it's been a fun, chill time. We do things where we play with viewers, we do trials, we do all kinds of stuff over there. Farm for God rolls, you name it. Come hang out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.